everything remained the same as far as the shortage of surplus for the 2019 year. But it was doable because it was closed. This year we used $142,000 in surplus, so if all things remain the same, you have to use that amount of money next year in surplus. What Carol was doing is that she was crunching the numbers, and we weren't coming up with 142,000. I don't recall whether it was 110 or something. It wasn't like it was way off, but so then when we found out about an employee leaving, that kind of like gave me a sigh of relief because that, you know, it's going to help the situation. So if we go through this, we just need to be very cautious for the rest of the year that, yeah, we have money to run the town and salaries, but we can't go overboard. We got to be very frivolous this year because I'm thinking of 2019 and what could happen there. So either we're going to make cuts in 2019, should we not have surplus, we'll be back in the same boat of not putting money into the reserve, even though, you know, we're building it up, or a tax increase. So they're the same thing. So I just throwing that out so everybody knows.
All right. Thank you.
So, with all of that being said, if this goes through where we're gonna advertise to have an amendment, what are we looking at as far as adoption?
Well, you will adopt that same night. You're going to have a public hearing on the amendment, then we're going to vote on the amendment, and then we can vote on the budget. The amendment has to be done before. And of course, the state has to give their blessing to it, which they're usually not ever. It's just more as a formality.
So you think maybe at the next meeting?
Well, it has to be at the next meeting. Because this resolution might have to be advertised to the public because it involves a change in the budget. Whenever you have a change in the budget, before it's finalized, you have to have a public hearing. Just like we had a public hearing at the last meeting on the budget. We didn't vote on it, but we had a public hearing. You don't have to have another public hearing on the whole budget, just the amendment. And then we can go and vote on the budget on the same night next month.
Okay, Linda, what's the resolution number?
It would be resolution 56-2018.
All right, I'd like to make that change to the motion to make it a resolution 56, 2018.
Larry, what is this resolution doing?
It is taking what Mr. Barbetto said, Councilman, and making these changes, I assume because that's what your motion is, right, Al?
Yes.
You have to make these changes, so that's what it's going to.
Okay, so it makes those changes, but when we come back in June, we will need another resolution approving the amendment? Is that what you said?
No, you won't need another resolution, you'll need to vote on this amendment.
Okay.
Right.
So it's a vote on it, so this will be the resolution that actually makes the changes, but the vote on it will be in June after publication.
Yes. Yeah, it's just a vote. We're
It
going
would
to
actually just be a vote on the amended
on the
budget.
amendment part, that's it.
A vote on the amended budget in total, one vote, I believe. Because you're approving this resolution at this meeting, that's technically gonna approve the amendment.
Well,
To
tell the
adopt the
state.
budget,
Yeah,
you'll
I've seen
adopt the amended budget.
I've seen it happen either way.
Both ways, yeah, you could do it.
The bottom line is, if the state says, okay, incorporate this into your budget, then it'll be one vote. If they don't, you gotta vote on the amendment separate and then vote on the budget. It's still accomplishing the same thing.
As we sit here right now, resolution 56 is to amend the budget.
That's
where we
correct.
are.
Yes.
Just so everyone knows what you're doing.
Yes.
Okay, so there was a motion, there was a second, roll call please.
Mr. Barbetto,
Yes.
Mr. Buchanan,
Yes.
Ms. Givens,
Yes.
Mr. Hughes,
Yes.
Mayor Venezia.
No. While we're in the subject here, I would like to skip over the budget a little bit, and June the 13th is graduation night. I'm not gonna be able to do the meeting. Can we pick another night to have our city council meeting? Want to come along?
Fred.
What's gonna happen, because Brenda's gonna have to be authorized.
Fred, when are you available?
Any night is fine with me, except the 13th.
I can't do
Fred.
the 12. Wait, you can't do the 12?
I
I have a meeting at 12.
I can't do the 12th either.
Just-
I work that evening, Tuesdays, Thursdays.
How about the Monday, the 11th?
I'm free Monday the 11th.
You're away. That's the week you're away.
Right.
All right.
I'm
You're away
away,
that whole week?
I'm away, I don't come back until let's see, wait a minute. I come back the 8th of June, so Monday, and I usually work 2 to 8 on Mondays. I'm working Tuesday and Thursday, I'm working.
Just that week.
I have an idea. What if we were to choose May the 30th? Actually, May the 31st. No, I'm sorry, May the 30th. Yeah, it's a Wednesday.
3 weeks.
Actually, you know what, you got the neighborhood watch.
Joe, what time's graduation?
7, yeah.
I thought maybe you could
I think it's like right in line with us.
have an hour, maybe start the meeting at 8, would you be done? This was a suggestion that night.
You guys wanna do the meeting at, actually, I think
You
graduation is 6 o'clock, Judge.
Remarks or something, Joe?
6 o'clock.
It's at 7.
You keep doing open remarks.
There's that, I think I maybe participate with the comment of what else also. Just go through that.
Joe, why don't
If
you
we
find,
start at 8, can we do it like a quick meeting?
Mayor, why don't you find out the specifics and have Linda pull everybody.
We have it in our,
Maybe you can have it like, say, an hour later, if we start at 6.
we have it in our packet to, about the meeting or graduation.
Yeah, it's in here.
It's in there.
I just saw it.
It's 7.
Oh, it's 7?
7.
You guys aren't available well, night before is,
I need a couple days there for Memorial Day.
can we do, June the 12th?
No.
Somehow.
You mean
What's up, what time is your meeting if done,
9:30?
And
It's
what-
7 to 9-ish.
And what about the 14th?
Why don't we just
That month?
find out what you're gonna be doing with the school, and then we can
We need to,
address that
we need to set the
issue.
clerk tonight
Then-
as the publication goes.
You can start at 8. Graduation's done in an hour.
You don't have an issue with that, I mean, if you're only going over there and just to say a few words, and then you could be back here, and we could get the meeting started at 7:30, 8 o'clock.
Here you go.
One final offer, what about,
I'm good on the 14th.
you good on the 14th?
Yeah.
14th?
Yeah.
Larry?
What day is that?
Thursday.
Monday, I work
Oh, it works.
2 to 8.
On the 14th, you work? It's a Thursday. Month?
Two to 8.
No, it's not, it's right here. June the 14th is a Thursday.
No,
Oh, is it?
I can't do Thursday. I can't do the 14th.
This is what we're supposed to be doing, the
Albert
13th
can't
to the
do it.
14th.
I know, I have to check the schedule to see what I'm working.
Albert
Yeah,
can't
Auburn,
make it this
Thursday,
week.
Thursday, right?
Yeah.
No, I can't do Thursday.
All right, last,
Well, not,
what about Friday night, the 15th?
Oh, Friday
why
night.
can't we just come and do it on Wednesday evening at 8 o'clock?
And we're willing to come a little later for you.
Come in a
We're
little
trying
bit
to
later,
work.
go do
Very
what
good.
you gotta do at the
Very
school,
good,
and
very good,
we'll move on.
very good.
Plus you could start the meeting, just do some routine things or something.
Exactly.
By the time Joe, and there's only what, 20-some kids in the class?
Something like that. I usually like to listen to some other stuff though. All right, so we're gonna do the meeting on the 13th, that's gonna be done at 8 o'clock, all right, guys? Do or you do not?
I do not,
We're just gonna make a quick meeting.
because I'm gonna get up at 4 next day.
I'm with you, Aaron.
If we can do like a,
Why don't you start the meeting at 7 and do the budget consideration at 8? So if there's general business that can be done between 7 and 8, the general business will be done as long as the mayor can arrive at 8 for the more important business of the budget. Is that not
my
work?
man.
Not a problem.
So you can still advertise for the 14th.
Well, it's already advertised, it's the regular meeting.
So you
You
have to
don't
worry
even have
about
to
it.
advertise.
We'll just hold budget consideration. It'll be in that meeting.
Right, I'll advertise,
We'll
right,
hold
so
it
the only thing I
again.
have to advertise is my budget.
Every meeting like.
Alright, so we'll do the 7, and, we're just gonna continue stop and wait until the mayor gets here to address the important issues.
Hold on a second, Aaron's saying, you know, we can have our meeting done at the very latest by 9:30, we can do it at 8 o'clock, all right? Why don't we do that?
He's afraid on this.
I see no reason why we can't get the meeting done in an hour. We'll probably have our minds made up with the budget, I'm sure. We've already had plenty of discussion on it, it'll just simply be a routine, bing bang boom.
Right,
For this regular meeting.
right.
We do 8 o'clock, guys.
We'll
Right?
have it done in an hour.
I'll have a time limit, we're gonna put the hour clock out here, when the sand runs out. I'm gonna put the gavel and then it's over.
So we're doing a 9 o'clock one today too?
Excuse me?
We're doing a 9 o'clock one today?
I'd like to.
Okay.
Okay.
Oh, no doubt, let's
Well,
go.
let's move on then.
Okay, well, we're hung up here on the budget, what can I tell you?
So we're doing 8 o'clock on the 13th?
8 o'clock.
13.
You have to change the advertising for that one,
Yes, I do.
and that's gonna cost us more money, right?
$5. $5 is all the advertisement is. It's a little tiny thing like that, it's like about $5.35.
Okay.
All right, moving along here. So there's a roll call on the budget. We have the nomination of the risk management consultant. I'm going to continue to stay with Hardenberg as my nomination. Fred, I'd like to hear from you what you're gonna read off that you have from the attorney.
Actually, throughout the last several months, my office has been in regular communication with David Luis, who is the attorney for the Atlantic County Municipal Joint Insurance Fund, discussing with Mr. Luis the implication of the municipality not having an RMC. They have been cordial discussions, but they've been informative discussions. Those discussions have led to an incoming email from Mr. Luis to me last Friday. I've just passed that to the members of council, but let me read it. Following up on our recent telephone conversations, attached is an excerpt from the Atlantic County Municipal Joint Insurance Fund bylaws regarding RMCs and termination. The bylaws in Article 3, Section F clearly require a member to provide for the services of an RMC. Article 3, Section 8 provides for termination of a member by 2/3 vote of the full membership for non-compliance with the bylaw, with the fund's bylaws. The termination process requires 30 days written notice of intention to terminate to the member, detailing the reason for the termination. In addition, the notice must be filed with the department. It is my understanding that the issue will be brought to the attention of the Executive Committee at their May meeting. At that time, the Executive Committee may call for a full membership vote as to whether Estell Manor should be provided with the 30-day notice. If there is not compliance after the notice, then a resolution for termination could be prepared and presented to the Executive Committee after the expiration of the 30 days. Please keep me informed as to Estell Manor's intentions with regard to this issue. Now, what was attached to the email incoming from Mr. Deweese were sections of the bylaws, and as he called out in his email, section F1 in the bylaws says each member shall provide for the services of an individual or firm to serve as the member's risk management consultant, who shall be an insurance producer as defined in NJSA 17:12A, and shall have demonstrated experience in the management of public sector insurances and risk management. So that is the section that says that a member, and when he's using the word member, he is using an insured party. In this case, Estell Manor is a member. And so the word member is referring to this municipality in the context of these communications. Also in the bylaws, as pointed out by Mr. Deweese in his email, if you go to what he called out in terms of section H1, that reads, a member must remain in the fund for a full term of membership unless earlier terminated by a 2/3 vote of the full membership of the fund commissioners for non-payment of assessments, non-compliance with risk management or underwriting standards, non-compliance with the fund's bylaws, or other reasons subject to the prior approval of the commissioner as reasons for termination. Now, in that list that I just read from in H, clearly the termination can relate to non-compliance with the fund's bylaws, and as I read a few moments ago, referencing the citation from Mr. Deweese back in section F, the bylaws require that the member have a risk management consultant. So it certainly appears at this point, if we really focus on this email, that this matter is going from the executive committee to the full board of the JIF. The language being used by Mr. Deweese certainly suggests that there will be a 2/3 vote, and that 2/3 vote in all likelihood will trigger a 30-day notice being issued to Estell Manor, and that being issued, it is a notice that your coverage is going to be terminated. It does appear, if I'm understanding this, that once they issue the 30-day notice, you could still remedy the situation inside of those 30 days. However, it appears that you are, if you go that route and say we'll fix it in the future, it's becoming a fairly risky situation. You are clearly now being looked at by the JIF. They still have to pursue their proper procedures, but you are being looked at to potentially be terminated absent some affirmative action by this council to appoint the RMC. That's where you are.
Are we aware of the date of this executive meeting?
It's not called out in Dave's email. My recall is that conversationally it was May 20-something. That's the best I can remember without having it in front of me.
And then if that was the case, it would be 30 days past the time of that.
Well, by the time they put it together and get it to us, yes, but if this happens as described here, there's going to be a moment sometime in the latter part of June when you're not going to have insurance in this community unless you respond to this and appoint an RMC. That's where you are.
I have repeatedly, since the beginning, nominated Hardenberg. I have done my job. We have the opportunity to just simply get out of this mess and be done with this. Fred, I would like you to give some of the language that you said to me at least a good couple of times on the phone about this, what we're doing and why we're not doing, and your opinion of what council is doing.
Well,
I would really like you to tell it from the heart how you told me.
Some of the conversations that I've had with the mayor, and I think I had a piece of this conversation possibly with the council president, a piece of the conversation with Mr. Barbetto. Admittedly, my conversations with the mayor were a little longer than with you two gentlemen, but you know, I have been doing this for 40 years, and I've never seen anything quite like this in any of my municipalities, in terms of the risk of not having insurance based upon this kind of fairly straightforward appointment process. And I realize members of council have different concerns about who is being appointed. As we sit here right now, and focusing on the mayor's nomination, Hardenberg has been your consultant for 9, 10, 11 years or something of that order of magnitude. While members of council may wish to make a change, against the background that you have in front of you, I think you have to really focus on what's going to be best for the community for a 7-month period of time. I mean, this is not the largest appointment you make. This is a rather ministerial job, even though it is important. If you look at it in terms of the importance of this job, you have survived. This community has gone forward for 4.5 months with nobody in the job. So, you know, how critical, as you sit here tonight, is the identity of who you appoint compared to the need to appoint somebody who is qualified. And Hardenberg obviously is qualified. You've appointed him 10 times. So my thought and direction is to protect the community from the absence of insurance. And by the way, I'm going to deviate for a moment. Put this in under recreation if you like. In your agenda tonight, under the general discussions, you have a general discussion dealing with an incoming memorandum you've received from the Joint Insurance Fund where they are providing information in regard to an event that took place in West Wildwood. Summarizing that real simply, because it's a substantial attachment. It's a memorandum, and then it is also an actual Superior Court case decision. The JIF was defending and in litigation a claim in West Wildwood. West Wildwood did not cooperate. West Wildwood undertook steps that actually damaged the litigation position of the JIF on their behalf. As a result, the JIF walked away from that piece of litigation while it was in litigation. West Wildwood defended it itself. The judgment was against West Wildwood for $1.7 million. The JIF then went to court and made a motion in court specifically that the JIF not be held responsible for that $1.7 million because there had been a lack of cooperation by West Wildwood, the member, and the court held in favor of the JIF. The $1.7 million falls on West Wildwood, who did not cooperate with the JIF, had the JIF cut off the defense and cut off the coverage. So, is the JIF taking these things seriously and the need for the members to cooperate? I would think that the West Wildwood case certainly shows that they're taking their own bylaws and procedures pretty doggone seriously. So, if we go back to our incoming from Mr. DeWeese, is that a serious communication? I think it's a serious communication.
Question, Fred.
Yes, sir.
You said it's only for 7 months, so we're not signing up now and we have a full year, it's from when it lapsed, earlier in the year.
We are dealing with the 2018 term.
Right.
And any appointment that this council would
It's only
make
7 months.
would be from the date of making the appointment to December 31 of 2018.
Right.
This book opens up again as the proposals for 2019 come in, and as you do your reorganization meeting sometime in January of 2019, you're going to be revisiting this. So it's not as though any decision you make tonight in terms of identifying the RMC is something that you are going to live with indefinitely.
Right.
It's going to start over again.
Exactly.
I figured I just wanted to
Yeah,
hear it.
that's
It was a stupid question, I'm
that's
sorry.
where no, it's not a stupid question. That's not a stupid question at all. Because it is fair to understand the term, and that's the point you're making. I think that's valuable.
I just want to make one thing clear here. I think everyone on council here, including the mayor, recognizes the fact that insurance is an important aspect of our daily operation. I also believe that whatever we do here as a council, we have to do with the citizens in mind, and that we do it fair and impartial. And I think that based on, and I'm gonna go back to this again, we've had 2 bids for this operation. The 2 bids came in, 1 contract with Hardenberg Insurance addressed only 8 of the 28 points that the JIP recommended in their contract. And the other ones covered all 28. Hardenberg was at 6%. The other agency was at 5.6%, I believe.
$144 difference.
Exactly. So, now, the year before, in 2017, when Hardenberg sent us their contract covered all 28 points of the JIP's recommendation. This year it did not. When we voted against this company before, it was based on that information. It was based on the fact that their contract was not up to the standards that the JIP expected. It was not the same as what it was the year prior, and that it was actually, the other company was cheaper. Even though it's $144, it was cheaper, and they covered all the things. So our recommendation at that time was to vote down Hardenberg based on that information. Now, we do have another person, another agency that's a viable candidate that met all the requirements, and I don't understand for the life of me why we would want to put in, because the contract is not going to change. They're going to cover 8 points of the 28 points for the rest of the 7 months at 6%. Why would we not look at the company that covers everything that we require, that is required by the JIP, at a cheaper price? I mean, if you can explain to me, if there's some other information you can explain to me where you can justify appointing Hardenberg because of that, I'd be glad to listen to it. But I haven't heard of any other information that would make this a better deal for the residents in the city of this city.
Give us all 28 that we need.
I think I've given my reasons, Larry, on numerous occasions.
You haven't. I haven't heard, you just said you want them. I haven't heard why.
I think I asked a question, and it's even in the minutes. Is there anybody that has a relative that worked in this other company?
Okay,
And everybody said, no, I don't know nothing about that.
okay,
And then it turns out that yes.
okay.
Larry, I don't like the way how this was done. It was done kind of like, this is what we're doing here, and this is the appointment. The resolutions I'm going over, and it was changed. No consideration to discuss with me, nothing.
What was changed?
You really don't know what was changed.
I'm asking you, what was changed?
We had
And the
Hardenberg,
resolution.
Hardenberg was supposed to be on that, and the reality was McMahon was on that, and nothing was discussed to me. Who makes the appointments, Larry?
You do.
Okay, so why was the appointment already made without my consent?
Nobody made an appointment
There
with
was,
that.
Larry, I'm sorry. I don't like how this went down. It was done very, very sneaky.
Nobody made an
Very,
appointment.
very sneaky, and I want this for the record. It certainly has a strong appearance of a conflict of interest.
Okay.
I don't like how this.
Well, let me ask you this
Sorry.
then. We're talking about conflict of interest. Is there any conflict of interest when you have your personal attorney appointed to the planning board as a solicitor?
I didn't
Is that a
appoint him. I didn't appoint him. You know, Larry, you have a real good
His
way.
packet
Larry,
came into this
Larry.
office prior to an advertisement ever
Larry.
being made.
he had a conversation with Jim Schroeder, and Jim Schroeder had told him he wasn't going to be sitting in over here anymore as a solicitor. So he's asked Jim Schroeder, could he put an application if he's not going to
But you
apply?
don't think that's a conflict of
No,
interest?
I had
since
nothing
he's
to do
your
with it.
personal attorney?
You have Fred as your personal attorney.
Well, Fred's not my personal
Larry,
attorney. Has never been my personal.
Listen,
your,
we need
your
to
role,
get our
your role is
insurance
not agree
straight.
with
I-
anything that I
Look
want
at
to
this,
do.
my back.
I am just
This is
asking
partisan.
you a question.
It's partisan. I'm sorry. You think it's better for our city to have no insurance coverage?
No.
Then vote for that.
I think that our city deserves to have the proper coverage.
We have the
All
proper coverage.
28 points.
And we
I
don't.
never even got a copy of that
do
list
not-
of what these points
They
are.
do not meet the 28 points required and recommended by the JIF.
Larry, I did not get a copy of that as of yet, and I've asked.
So you know
I'm
what,
sorry.
we're gonna end up with no insurance.
That's because that's what you wanna do.
No, we don't wanna do it, we want what's right.
You wanna strong arm this,
We are not
It's
strong
all
arming.
right. That's
It's,
exactly what
it's here, Joe, look, it's black and white, right there.
No kidding, Linda.
But then,
No kidding.
why would you check it out?
All I'm saying is that the recommendations were made based on